rifle kicked back into my shoulder as a single gunshot echoed through the mountains. Both my hands were firmly holding the steaming firearm, my heart beating too fast to take a second shot without movement. But the movement beyond me, the movement of elk, came nearer and nearer, an opportunity no one could let pass. This is me, elk hunting in Colorado, something I have done since I was 13. My first hunt ever was the most memorable, not only because I brought home over 250 pounds of elk steaks, but also because of my prize 5x5 point rack. Being a 13-year-old girl shooting down the biggest elk in the group of guys is satisfying. What are your thoughts about hunting? Perhaps you are a hunter and know exactly what I'm talking about. Or you might be worried about that defenseless animal I'm hunting. Maybe you're cautious about that dangerous item I use, the gun. To me, hunting is a rich family heritage. I have grown to love it, and I'm not out to persuade you to pick up your gun and start shooting things in your backyard. But I do want to share with you a bit of its myths, skills, and heritage. Whatever your opinion may be, you should leave this room with a new appreciation for this sport I love. You may have been privy to a few myths out there. Let's dive into a few big ones. Probably the biggest myth about hunting is that it is unsafe. Naturally, what's full of guys carrying high-powered rifles would be dangerous, right? Most states have hunter's education classes. In order to receive my hunter's education certificate, I had to attend a 2-day class where I was required to fire a rifle and know current firearm safety. Beyond the class, our family applies this. We pray for 2 specific things before heading out to hunt: safety and success. We can live without success, but safety is never compromised. Here's one for you. Hunters kill just for sport. Notice how I never use that term, kill. Much like a crop is harvested in the fall, we harvest game and take it home to our families. In fact, wildlife laws back this up. When we harvest an elk, we are required by law to take all of its edible parts. Though a trophy is definitely admirable, taking just the antlers of the animal is a felony. Hunters who kill just for sport have the law, and me, against them. In fact, hunting benefits wildlife more than you would guess. When there are too many animals in an area, we, as the wildlife preserve, have 2 choices. Either let the animals die of starvation, or harvest the animals through hunting. Either way, the population stays the same. The wildlife is preserved when hunting is used. I call the third myth the redneck myth. This is a derogatory idea that hunters are a bunch of guys running crazy in the woods, shooting all over tarnation and killing everything that moves. Let's dispel a few obvious things. First, I'm a girl. In fact, women account for 16% of the total hunting population of 21 million. I know many female hunters. This idea that hunters are crazy disturbs me. In some countries, like Ireland, only the ruling class and wealthy are allowed to hunt. Here in America, we have the opportunity, protected by the Second Amendment of the Constitution, to own firearms, and the laws of the land provide for a safe and wholesome environment to harvest game. Hunting is my, above all, favorite thing to do in the world. You'd think I'd do it more often, but I only go once or twice a year. I don't especially like firing my rifle out in the wild. If this is anyone's reason to go hunting, I would feel unsafe around their trigger-happy tendencies. In the 3 years that I've been old enough to elk hunt, I have fired my rifle a total of 3 times. Dropping 2 elk. A 66% success rate. Not too bad. Throughout my hunter safety class, the one thing they didn't teach, but is required if you would like to bring home an animal, is being able to fire a rifle accurately. They have the safety tips for carrying a firearm, but what about hitting your target? I currently own a nice 7mm 08 rifle, but every gun, even the nice ones, take practice. My family has made it annual to sight in our rifles and fill in our practice before hunting. I also enjoy hunting for the time I get with my family. We do much more than just hunt in the mountains. We camp, hike, learn survival skills, build memories, and we don't take showers. If we did, there would probably be more than just 16% women. Hunting laws sometimes mandate safety, like wearing blaze orange during rifle season. In Colorado, every hunter must wear at least 500 square inches of blaze orange, part of which must be an orange hat. When caught without them, you can be slapped with a fine. Bow hunting is a bit safer, so straight camouflage can be worn without any orange to make you stand out in the open. High-powered rifles are able to shoot an entire mile, so such safety precautions are wise, with or without a law to back them up. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is being able to use a map and a compass. Never depend on a GPS. Technology failure can result in disaster. A compass always points north, and a map of the area you're in can keep you out of the scariest predicaments. We did get lost once in an area we knew well, but this only happened because we left the compass back at camp. It was a scary lesson, and we have never left the compass behind since. Here's how a map and a compass is used, and it isn't too complicated. Wherever you're standing, figure out which way is north. That's what the compass is for. Now I'm able to place the map underneath the compass, serving as a reference for the land I'm on. Even if I don't know exactly where I am, I can at least start walking in one direction to find a landmark that I'm familiar with. So the survival skill is this: as long as I have a map and a compass, I won't ever be lost. This was all part of my hunter's education, survival lessons and survival skills that I believe everyone should have an understanding of are taught in hunting. Over the years, I truly believe that hunting, in the few times I have gone, has made me what I am today. Climbing mountains in freezing weather at 4 a.m. is no picnic. It's hard work and takes quite a commitment. Through my personal experiences and watching my siblings, hunting builds character. There's something you should know about this rack. It's the story of my first elk at the age of 13 that brings shock for the exact reason that this was my first elk at the age of 13 that I shot. That was the first elk that I've seen. The first was about lunchtime on opening day when Dad and I heard some stomping in the woods. Out stepped a small 4-point by 3-point bull. My dad didn't have the proper license to be able to shoot a bull, but if he did, that thing would have been down. I had my gun up, but I was so nervous that I couldn't hold my gun still. And every time I got it in my sights, I hesitated. He walked up and over the ridge and out of sight. Gone. My dad was quite disappointed. And so was I. The next day, we found another wooded area to sit in. Dad and I sat back to back on a fallen tree. A huge bull came crashing through the woods and stopped broadside about 10 feet from where we were sitting. I did the only thing I could think of. I started counting. I didn't think of picking up my gun. I counted the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, my friend, bigger than this one. I stared in awe, and a whispering voice to my side brought me out of shock. Shoot it! Shoot it! I told my dad, but I didn't even have my gun up. The elk started to run. I got my gun, but by then, it was gone. To this day, I have never seen another bull as big as that one, especially not standing 10 feet in front of me, perhaps from me to you, which is how close that bull came to me. That night over the campfire, my dad told me, Lydia, if you don't get an elk, you will have to go home and tell your brothers that you missed your chance to get 2 big bulls. I don't know about you, but I have 7 extremely competitive younger brothers. I don't know to tell them what I just told you. I would rather jump off a cliff. Day 3. It was about 9 o'clock a.m. when we heard it. It sounded something like this. That is the sound of elk. Just imagine that times 20. Right when we heard that, we followed it over 4 different ridges. We came to the top of one when we spotted a herd about 200 yards away. They were moving in this direction, so we planned to trap them by coming up over the next ridge. Our plan worked perfectly. In position, it was only minutes when we heard galloping like 100 horses. Out came a herd of about 20 elk. The sound of a .30-06 rifle echoed in my ears. My dad dropping a cow. The elk, stunned by the shot, turned and ran towards us, making an easy 40-yard shot. My dad turned and pointed at the largest bull in the pack. I took aim and fired. My bull dropped. We brought my elk home that day, and the bull whose antlers appear before you now. I went home with quite a story to tell my brother. Now, you may not become a hunter after this, but you should have a better appreciation for the activity. Through hunting's most common myths, its valuable skills, and the great heritage, there's good reason to be okay with it. But more so, to love and cherish the heritage of hunting. Thank you.